Welcome to Old Fashioned Finance, the podcast that mixes cocktails and high finance. I'm your host, Jason Demland, and I am joined, as always, and in the future, by my good friend and fellow money muddler, Caleb Frankert.
Jason, can a podcast about finance be entertaining?
Not without alcohol.
Well, all right, let's mix it up.
Chinga!
Whatever that was.
It was an excited noise.
Chinga!
You know,
I don't know what that was.
onomatopoeia.
Onomatopoeia.
Well, that'd be written down, right?
Yeah. How do you spell onomatopoeia?
I don't know.
It's actually not that hard. I don't believe.
Is it phonetic?
I don't know. Sorry,
like
I'm still in spelling bee mode.
Yeah, we've got great news. Your little girl is a super speller.
Turns out she takes after not me. No, I'm a good speller though, actually.
Well, not bad. You need spell check like less than the average.
My little fourth grader made it to the countywide spelling bee. You had to be top 2 in your school. I was only top 3 in my school, so I did not go. So she's already out-achieved me in so many ways. But yeah,
she did a great job.
She did real good. Windbaggery was the word that she went out on.
She'll never forget it.
No, never.
Just like I'll never forget tutu, which is what I got out on when I was the defending defending champion.
Wow.
And I got out on the most humiliating word possible.
Is there a hyphen in tutu?
I don't think so. It's just TU.
That was one of the rules in the spelling bee that they made very clear. No hyphens. No capitalization. This is get down to it spelling bee.
Just the letters.
Just letters,
parts.
folks.
This is just letters.
This ain't no slashy. Cool. We're very proud of her. She was 6th out of 20. And there was another little fourth grader that was 5th.
Wow, this class.
I told those girls she was a different school, but afterwards, they know each other apparently. I said, you two are going to own this thing if you keep it up.
Stick in it. Hopefully they didn't. What's that thing where you peak too soon?
Oh, what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully
peak too soon.
Hopefully, I think it's called peaking too soon. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully they've got a long, awesome career ahead of them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they do.
Full of letters.
Hopefully more behind their name than I have.
Yeah, like Juris Doctor or medical
cool.
doctor. None of the other ones matter.
Yeah, really.
MBA.
All right, well, how's your day going?
It's great. I'm excited for this episode that we're recording today. We are going to tackle a drink I have no idea about and still have remained blissfully ignorant about until I see it. It looks delightful.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about a finance topic that is a little on the fringes, but nonetheless awesome.
Yeah.
I think that it'll be applicable to many of you out there. And if it's not directly to you, you can blow someone's mind with this technique.
Yeah, we're talking about the Scofflaw.
Scofflaw.
And Mega Backdoor Roths.
Yeah, or Mega
Roth conversions.
Roth backdoors.
Yeah, however you want to slice it. I chose Scofflaw, Jason, because this one sounds too good to be true. Like, surely this is not going to fly under the tax code. But you know what I always say? You work that tax code.
I scoff at the tax law.
And you know what? As of the time of this podcast being recorded, the Build Back Better plan has not been passed. Therefore, we're good. We're good.
Yeah,
we can still do this.
We're in danger of losing some of these tricks.
Yeah.
The Roth conversion tricks, the backdoor Roth contributions, and we did lose some of the recharacterizations. We're not here to talk about that.
No.
This, as of this recording, is
good to
still
go.
a viable strategy.
Very viable.
Before we dive into that, Caleb, let's loosen up.
Yeah.
And let's try a Scofflaw.
Let's try it.
And you tell me what this is all about.
I was real excited about the Scofflaw because I consider myself a Seinfeld aficionado, and I considered you a Seinfeld aficionado too. And I said, Jason, the drink for today, the Scofflaw. And you go, Scofflaw? Can you use it in the form of a sentence?
Yeah.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Country of origin.
You spelling beat it. I'm like, Scofflaw, man. You know, like the Seinfeld episode when Newman had all the parking tickets. He was the white whale.
I had no. When this podcast officially fails and we do a Seinfeld and finance podcast, I will get up on them. I
like it. We should do one of those like real soon.
I'm for it.
Okay. As soon as this one fails.
Let's push through. Let's fail fast.
All right, so the Scofflaw was a drink that was created back around Prohibition times. This term was coined during Prohibition, Scofflaw.
All right.
I thought you'd heard of this term before.
Is it
but
just like it sounds? Like
yeah, Scofflaw. People who were basically laughing at the Prohibition laws. Yeah, they were called Scofflaws.
Got it. All right.
So this drink was named after Scofflaws. It's fun to say it.
Scofflaw.
It makes me think of Newman all the time. It's a great episode. Kramer wears a pirate. He wears an eye patch like a pirate. It's shortly after the puffy shirt episode because Jerry goes, "What are you doing? You're wearing an eye patch. You look like a pirate." And Kramer goes, "I don't want to be a pirate."
Referring to Jerry? Not
yeah, remember the puffy shirt?
Yeah,
I don't want to be a pirate.
Shirt.
Okay, sorry. Off track. But anyway. So the Scofflaw, this one came out of Harry's New York bar in Paris.
Okay, very famous.
Remember, we've talked about this one
very,
before.
very famous bar.
Not Harry Craddock.
No.
However, Harry Craddock, the Savoy cocktail book fella, the thief of cocktail recipes, he ripped off some of the other Harry. It was Mick something.
Harry Mick cocktail.
Forget.
Mick bartender.
Yeah, anyway, Mac started with an E.
We're going to get there.
McElhoney or something like that?
Oh, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That's something around there.
So this drink was created over there. It is in the Savoy cocktail book, but what we're drinking looks a lot different than what was in the cocktail book. So get this, Jason. A Scofflaw. This is how it's listed in Savoy's cocktail book. 1 dash orange bitters, a third Canadian Club whiskey, a third French vermouth, 1/6 lemon juice, 1/6 grenadine, shake well and strain into a cocktail glass. I don't know. That doesn't do much for me.
I don't know.
David Wondrich also mentioned that this didn't do a lot for a whole lot of people.
Okay.
However, this drink has survived,
Kind of a
and what we're drinking today is a little bit different.
All right, an improved version, I hope.
It's an improved version. We've got 2 ounces of rye whiskey. You could do this with bourbon, too, if you wanted, but most recipes call for a rye.
Sure.
We've got 1 ounce of dry vermouth. We have a 1/4 ounce of lemon juice or lime juice. Seems like they're pretty interchangeable with the different recipes. I used lime because
lemon is like it just punches you in the mouth.
It really does, and lime usually is a little bit more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah.
And then 1 to 2 dashes of grenadine, which really changes the color of this one.
Yeah, I got a real.
And then 1 dash of orange bitters.
looking.
You know me; I'm always a little heavy on the bitter. So if it says 1, I go 2. That's what we got. That's what we're drinking today. Haven't tried this yet. Let's do it, Jason.
Bottoms
Cheers.
up. Have a tipple.
Ooh, what is that?
I don't know. That's I like it.
That's delightful. I think that rye and dry vermouth is a weird combination. That's what I was a little bit worried about. Sort of like the Brooklyn.
Yeah, we didn't really like that. We thought you might as well go with a real Manhattan. Sweet vermouth. I'm a dessert fan. A sweet tooth, famously, and
infamously.
Not famously. It's more than famous. I don't know. I think the grenadine is replacing the sweetness of a red vermouth.
There's plenty of sweetness in the grenadine.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
It's got... What kind of rye did you use in this?
This is just bullet rye. Yeah, nothing fancy.
So a higher rye.
It is high. Yeah, it's high rye. It's not a spicy rye, though.
No,
I wouldn't
but it
say
is a little stronger. You can taste that rye-ness coming through and like just have a rogue... That's rye, right?
This is a spicy one, yeah.
I like it. This is an interesting drink, Caleb. Would it be in a martini or Manhattan family? It seems close.
That's where
the whiskey.
It is right down the middle. It's enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
I like this.
Y'all should try this at home if you're following along.
Hey,
if
have
you like
the
to mix up a
Scofflaw
drink
while
with
you're
it.
skirting IRS rules.
Yes. Well, you're not really skirting because it's just working that tax code right now.
This is totally legal, and we're driving right up the middle while we scoff at these rules.
Totally legal until it's not.
Actually,
and once it's not, then you better stop it. But as of now, it's legal. And you know who writes these tax codes?
Yeah,
that's
what I was going to say.
It's for rich people, the ultra rich, to take advantage.
Congressmen, buddies, and senators write up these loopholes for themselves and their friends.
They like this.
And we're going to try to take advantage of it, too, as decent humans that aren't politicians.
Well, I like the drink. I like the topic. Let's move into the finance, Jason.
Let's dive right in.
All right. So, first of all, Mega Backdoor Roth. This is something that you and I talked about before. Unless you're in this business, you probably are not familiar with this term. So, Jason, explain a little bit what exactly it is we're talking about And I guess we can get into who it makes sense for and go from there.
I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs. We've got episodes where we've talked about that. You can Google that if you want to know contribution limits and that sort of thing. But as a proper startup, if you make too much money, you cannot contribute to a Roth IRA. And we are huge fans of the Roth IRA.
Absolutely.
There are ways to get money into a Roth IRA, like a backdoor Roth contribution. But we're not talking about that either. We're jumping right into the mega Roth contribution.
Yeah, this
backdoor.
is very similar, but it's just mega instead of regular type.
Yeah, and we'll tell you how you get there. So basically, you make a lot of money, you don't qualify for a Roth IRA contribution the good old-fashioned way, but you still want to sock a bunch of money into a Roth IRA. This is how you do it. This can get you up to $40,000 this year, right? $40,500 into a Roth IRA this year if you make more than the contribution limit.
And Jason, I don't know this off the top of my head, but if you are 50 and older, I think you might get the catch-up on your side too.
Yeah, I think you do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, okay, as of now, $20,500 is what you can contribute to an IRA, tax-deferred.
401k.
I mean a 401k. Wow. Scofflaw.
Yeah, the Scofflaw. Okay, so that's
thanks for being here, Jason.
Yeah, that's an important differentiation. So we're going to have to use a 401k to do this.
Yeah.
So you can't. We're getting the money into a Roth IRA, but it's going to start in your 401k, and there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
There's a lot of room for mistakes with this strategy. So before we even get into it, you should not do it on your own out there.
No, absolutely not. This could be a recipe for a disaster.
I know CPAs that don't even know that this exists. And
I thought you were going to say I know CPR. I don't know.
I do not know CPR, but I've seen it on TV. I know that there are CPAs that don't know how this works, which is alarming. And even more alarming, well, maybe it's less alarming, there's way more financial advisors that don't know how to do this. So if you're going to do this, you need a professional that's got some experience with it. So there's the disclaimer right off the bat. So let's dive in. You make a lot of money and you want to save more.
I do?
In this hypothetical situation.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Pretend that you make a lot of money. And we want to put money into your Roth IRA. We've exhausted the regular old backdoor Roth IRA.
Yep.
Now we're going to go dive into the mega backdoor Roth.
Okay.
So we've got to set the stage for it, Caleb.
All right.
First of all, you need to have a 401k.
I got it. Well, I don't, but
in this situation.
Yeah. In this situation where I'm making lots of money, I have a 401k.
Yeah, great. Does that mean you can do this mega backdoor Roth right away?
Maybe not. Maybe. How do I know?
Well, it alone is not the only criteria, Caleb.
No, there's a few things that are required, prerequisites, if you will.
So I don't want to get everybody's hopes up out there. You might not be able to do it. A lot of 401ks are more restrictive than this. So the first rule, you have to have a 401k at all, and then that 401k has to allow for after-tax contributions.
Yeah.
To get to after-tax contributions, Caleb, you already have to be saving.
Yeah, right. And from this article that I read, I think you might have looked at the same one. As of now, about 43% of 401k plans out there will allow for an after-tax contribution. So you might fit in this category of someone who could really benefit from this program or this strategy. And you might be shut down. If you get past gate 1, gate 2, there's less than a 50-50 chance that you've got that too. But if you do and you pass through the second gate, what's the other thing we got to look for?
It needs to allow. This first gate is allowing for after-tax contributions?
Yeah. I guess that's the second gate. I'm sorry.
Well,
have a 401k.
Have a 401k available to you.
Yeah.
Secondly, you need your 401k plan needs to allow after-tax contributions. And that's what you're referring to is less than half of 401k plans allow that at all.
Right.
And you need to be maxing out your pre-tax. Well, it doesn't have to be pre-tax. If you have a Roth 401k, your regular contribution limit in 2022 is, do you have that number? 20,500?
20,500 unless you're 50 and older, and then it bumps up to what, 26 5 or 27. It's an extra $6,500.
Yeah.
That's
it. Math. So let's just say you have to already be taking advantage of that. You're probably already getting a match. So you're already saving quite a bit.
Yeah. Good job, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, step 2. Pat yourself on the back.
Good job. You're saving at a good rate, but you want to save more.
I guess that would be step 3, right? Because it's after gate 2.
I've totally lost track of our steps and
Scofflaw.
gates. The Scofflaw. Okay, so quick recap. You need to have a 401k. The 401k itself needs to offer after-tax contributions, and you need to be taking advantage of the before-tax contributions or not before tax?
Well, in the
what do you
case
call
of the
Roth
Roth
ones? In the case of the Roth.
Contribution, I'd just say contribution limits here, but then there's yet another gate that you have to pass through.
Yeah, so you can put after-tax money into a 401k, and really that just means you're saving money into your 401k. You're getting taxed on it out of your paycheck, but it's before you're taking it home and putting it into the bank. It's going into the 401k plan, and it is subject to 401k rules. So as you're saving up in there, what's the total limit that you can put into your 401k? Do you have that handy?
The total we're looking at for 2022, $61,000.
$61,000 is the total of the money that you can put into your 401k plan.
Well, that's with the match. Or, yeah. With your, sorry, here we go, Scofflaw. The tax deferred plus after you pass through these different gates, and you have the non-deferred.
Yes.
Yeah.
This after-tax money
Yes.
that's not getting any special tax treatment. It's getting taxed, and then it's growing, and then you'll pay tax on it when you take it out. So what do you do with it? It's just growing up in there after tax. You need to take it out. This is where we're going to put it into a Roth IRA.
Yeah, this is where it gets delicate, by the way.
there is currently no problem with taking after-tax money out of a 401k, which is a qualified retirement plan, and moving that money, converting that money, I guess, into a Roth IRA. You're allowed to move it. But most 401k plans won't allow you to take money out until you've retired or you quit.
You're talking about it. What you need is an in-service distribution here. And you said converting, right? Because it's technically at this point, because it's not tax deductible when it goes in, you're not really converting anything.
Right.
And again, this isn't the Roth conversion episode, but similar, right?
This is similar. The same rules kick in.
You've already paid taxes on that money. There's really no conversion. So the money has been taxed. It goes in. You're just rolling it out at that point.
You can do an in-service withdrawal, and like works in this case. It's after-tax to an after-tax retirement account.
Yep.
From an after-tax retirement account. So right now, it seems like it's too good to be true. But for now, this is a loophole that was attempted to be closed.
Yes.
But it's still open, and that allows you who make a lot of money to put in far more than the $6,000 that you got punished for making you could put $6,000 in until you made too much money. Now you can put $38,000 in.
And this isn't a political commentary, but midterm elections are this year already. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't see anything getting done to prevent this through the rest of the year.
No, I think
honestly.
it's a viable strategy for 2022. But let's recap those rules again.
Go back through the gates. You
gates.
have a 401k, gate 1. What's gate 2, Jason?
Your plan, you need to make your regular contributions up to your contribution limit.
Okay. The next one is you have to be able to make after-tax contributions to your 401k.
That's a 401k rule. It will vary by plan provider and where you work.
The next one is it should allow for
in-service withdrawals, which means they let you take your money out without a penalty or without a hardship deferral or whatever before your retirement age or before you separate service, so you're still working there.
And I would say my commentary on this is there are more and more plans that are allowing for this. It used to not be the case, but I would say over the last few years we've seen a lot of plans adapting to the in-service
and
withdrawal.
if you run the company and you want to take advantage of this, you might have to spend some money updating your 401k plan.
What about a solo 401k?
Yeah, you can do this.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you're self-employed and it's just you, that's pretty great. You should take advantage of this.
Yeah.
It's an underutilized strategy, mostly because it's fairly rare to have available. And it's rare to make it through all those gates. Not everyone is maxing out their 401k and wants to save more. But a lot of people are, especially at the financially independent, retire early crowd that's really hustling on this.
Fire!
They need to get money into a Roth. They do also want some after-tax money anyway. But this is a great strategy for them. Caleb, do you want to talk about some of the problems that can arise from this?
This could be the Scofflaw talking, Jason, but what comes to my mind is be careful of the pro rata rule. How does it apply here? You've handled one of these recently, have you not?
Well, yeah. So,
or in the process of,
I'm not exactly sure how much it applies to money that is saved from your payroll into the 401k as after tax and then rolled to a Roth. With regular Roth conversions, a lot of people, if you don't know, this is a little bit of an aside, but it's a very parallel strategy. If you don't qualify for Roth contributions because you make over the limit, and I don't know what that is off the top of my head. It was $189,000 for married.
It's 200. Call it 200,000 at this point.
So
adjusted gross income.
Yeah, if you're making more than $200,000 a year, you can't contribute to a Roth IRA. You can contribute to a traditional IRA.
Everyone can.
You just can't deduct
the
money that you put in.
Right.
So that money is put into to a traditional IRA that's non-deductible, and then you can convert it to a Roth IRA. That's called the backdoor Roth IRA. It's pretty common, and you should be doing that as well if you're thinking about a mega Roth.
Make sure your tax person knows about that, by the way.
Yeah, you have to communicate so clearly with them because the codes on the 1099s don't always show that you were doing this.
And I think a lot of people just assume, well, when I bring my tax docs, they're going to know. No, not the case. And you might even think, well, it's a net neutral, right? There's nothing actually that changes because I already paid. You still need to let your tax person know when you do this.
Yeah. Well, it's really important to be communicating whenever you're doing work that tax code strategy like this. So back to this pro rata rule.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to do a backdoor Roth contribution. Basically, you got a whole bunch of IRA money. But if you have IRA money that you have deducted, like it's pre-tax money, it hasn't been taxed yet.
Right.
And you have money that has already been taxed, but it's in IRAs. This activates what the IRS calls the cream in the coffee
Cream in
rule.
the coffee,
You can't get the cream out. It's mixed in. They're going to count all your IRAs. It doesn't matter if one of them is non-deductible and the other one was already deductible.
Right. So when it comes out, it all comes out proportionately, just
That's
like
right.
the cream in the coffee.
So if you only had $10,000 of your $1 million of IRAs that is non-deductible and you try to convert the 10,000, they're not going to allow that.
Biggest mistake that people make when they do Roth conversions. So in my mind, when I think about doing a mega, it's something that I should be, well, let's see if it's a problem for a Roth conversion or a backdoor Roth. Should it be something that we're keeping our eye on for a mega backdoor Roth?
Yeah, I think that it's worth being a lot cleaner for to watch out for that, because to avoid that cream in the coffee rule, a way that you can get out of it, and a reason that I don't think this applies to the mega, is to totally get out of this problem of the cream in the coffee rule.
Are you talking about rolling your traditional
You can take
out?
all of your IRAs and put it into your 401k, and then you can convert out of that. And I know people do that, but you avoid the pro rata rule doing it that way. That's highly technical. We don't need to get into all of that. It may be boring you now. The important thing is that you know that it exists. You know that there are ways that you can contribute to a Roth IRA, and your financial advisor should be exploring that with you. And you might not be able to do it. And a lot of people don't even try because it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you and I, how much extra money do we make?
Well, actually, I was going to say this is usually a net negative for financial advisors because, well, the way that we get paid, it's based on assets under management.
Unless you're charging for engagement or hourly or something like that, which isn't that common.
But is it the right thing to do?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You got to look into it.
Is it adding massive value? Yes.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say massive value? Is that
I don't think it's
term
trademarked.
coined? Okay.
I mean, are we adding really big amounts of value?
Yeah. Usually, so that's another. I think when if your financial advisor is bringing this up to you, think about it. If they're telling you, "Hey, move your money from the accounts that I manage for you to your 401k," think about that. He's probably got your best interest. He or she probably has your best interest in mind when he says to do that, right? Because he's usually not getting paid on assets that he's not managing. Very rarely is he or she getting paid on assets they're not managing. So
I hope they're acting in your best interest if they're doing that, or it's weird.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very complex strategy. Yeah. And obviously, Jason, when we talk about this, we've already gone through 3 or 4 different gates to even get there, to even see if we can do it. Not to mention, we're talking about saving $60,000 for retirement, roughly. Yeah. There's not a lot of people doing that. So is this kind of a niche? Is this applicable to everybody? No. However, if you've gotten through all those gates and saving that amount of money is not a problem and you'd like to save more, this is definitely a strategy that you need to look at if you check boxes A, B, C, and D, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk real quickly as we kind of wrap this up. Who is this really geared towards? Who is this ideal for?
It's ideal for high-income earners. So people that are making a lot of money a year. It's ideal for anybody that can and wants to save over $60,000 a year for retirement. And that can be a lot of different people. It can be high-income earners. It can be people that have inherited income-producing assets, and their income is high for a little while. So think of inherited IRA. We just did an episode on that a little while ago. And if you can replace your income with your inherited IRA for a while, and you can defer your other income, you might be able to take care of this strategy and get that money into a Roth IRA when you otherwise wouldn't have been able to.
We talked about this off off camera and off microphone earlier.
In secret.
From an inherited asset point of view, you might be forced to take income that you normally wouldn't take. This is another way to make that work in your favor. No, it's not a direct. You can't take an inherited IRA and move it to a Roth IRA.
Yeah.
But this is a way where you can take it out of this pocket, put it in this pocket, same thing, right?
And you benefit from the tax deferral.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You're working that tax code.
I got one other addendum to this.
Okay.
And I think people will ask, how do I know? How do I find out if I can do this? And it really is as simple as calling your 401k provider. I do it yourself. They don't let people like us just talk to them about your account.
No.
Or I would happily do it. And we know all the questions asked. But basically, you want to get a hold of somebody. If your 401k is through a giant provider like Fidelity or whoever, call them, tell them your information, tell them you're a part of the plan, ask if your plan takes after-tax contributions, if your plan offers in-service withdrawals. And just say, I want to do a Mega Backdoor Roth IRA. Find somebody who knows what that is there. And you can find out if you can do it.
And here's what I would say too: like if you're going to call a company like a Fidelity or something like that, there are very qualified, pretty intelligent people answering the phones there most of the time. Sometimes if they're not really tracking, you might need to hang up the phone and call again. But there's somebody out there who will read through the plan description or the summary document with you. And you might sit on hold for a little bit while they're reading that, because I don't think they get these calls real regularly.
No.
That's. Actually, I think some of these platforms like Fidelity, you may be able to do this online. You may be able to verify that, yes, I can do A, B, C, and D, therefore I can do E, right?
Yeah.
You might be able to just go ahead and do it online. Here's the other thing. If you have a Roth 401k as an option, a lot of folks have had their 401k for a long time, but, never knew that their plan had changed and now the Roth is an option. There's a really safe landing place for that conversion when you're done with it, for that back door.
And it eliminates the need for an in-service withdrawal.
Absolutely, which is where things get real dicey.
That's right. So if you got a place for that money to land right inside the plan, you can do it all there without opening any external accounts.
So what if you can't do the Roth or the Mega Roth, but you like the idea of saving more? What are some other places? Where are some other places we can do? I know we've talked about
the
this
hierarchy of savings. I would do regular backdoor Roth contributions if you don't qualify for Roths.
Be careful of the pro rata rule.
I would look at HSAs, obviously, and investing that. And then after that, I would probably just do non-tax qualified accounts that are invested, and you have to watch out for short-term and long-term capital gains, but that can be managed, and in a lot of ways that's advantageous.
As we go through these gates and we eliminate people who are able to do this, even though they're all in on the idea, it's not the worst thing in the world to stick some money in a non-qualified brokerage account if you have to.
Or you could spend it.
Sure. You could buy a boat. Why not?
Because they go down in value.
On next week's episode, we'll talk about why not to buy a boat. Just kidding. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for having a drink with us this week. It's time to close out the tab. If you have a question or a topic that you want addressed on the Old Fashioned Finance podcast, be sure to email us at speakeasy@oldfashionedfinance.com. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to share the show with someone you love or just someone who needs a little money muddling themselves. You can stay up to date with all of the latest action by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Old Fashioned Finance is brought to you by Blue Jay Financial Group. Whew, had to take a breath.
Gotta breathe.
That's BlueJayFG.com and produced by Podastery Studios. We've been your hosts, Jason and Caleb. Scofflaw!
Scofflaws!
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Blue Jay Financial Group, LLC, Blue Jay, is a registered investment advisor registered with the state of Ohio. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The presence of this advertisement on this podcast shall not be directly or indirectly interpreted as a solicitation of investment advisory services to persons of another jurisdiction unless otherwise permitted by statute. Follow-up or individualized responses to consumers in a particular state by Blue Jay in the rendering of personalized investment advice for compensation shall not be made without first complying with jurisdiction requirements or pursuant to an applicable state exemption. All verbal and written content on this presentation is for information purposes only. Opinions expressed herein are solely those of Blue Jay, unless otherwise specifically cited. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by our firm as to other parties' informational accuracy or completeness. All information or ideas provided should be discussed in detail with an advisor, accountant, or legal counsel prior to implementation.